Welcome back. David Hertel in for Elias. One nurse who watched a man choke to death in 2020 has pleaded guilty to breaching the code of ethics. The man choked after eating a snack meant to raise his blood sugar levels. She had brought him the food but kept her distance when he started to choke because she said she was afraid of him, as he had a reputation of becoming violent during hypoglycemic episodes. The auxiliary nurse has been banned from practicing for 6 months. So joining us to discuss this is Paul Brunet. I always enjoy having him on. He's a patient rights advocate and president of the Quebec Council for Patients' Rights. Always a pleasure, Paul.
Hello, David.
So, Did I miss something in this summary of the episode? Is something that stands out for you?
No, I think you well summarized it. Let's precise though that the person was an auxiliary nurse, not a nurse per se.
Okay. And what's the difference? Tell me. Explain to us. Yeah.
Different profession, different type of requirements, different amount of time of education.
Oh.
And obviously this person did not even have the appropriate knowledge and training to be confronted to the situation she was in front of. So I think she admitted all the facts, and actually she left the profession. She deregistered herself. Let's remind everyone that the family got civil indemnity, monetary
they got damages,
settlement out of court. But of course, when something happens to your father or relative so close, 6 months of radiation is not enough.
No.
But we're not talking about criminal action here. I think that the DPCP, the person or
the prosecutor
did not find enough facts to prosecute criminally the person. So that's the kind of thing that the family was looking for, some penal infraction being launched against the person. That was not the case. So I wasn't there. I'm a lawyer myself, and I think that it's very hard. 6 months of radiation is certainly not enough. But what are we looking for? Are we looking for a penal infraction, some jail time for that person? This is not what the DPCP or the prosecutor decided that would be the case. There was no penal facts that opened for such an infraction being launched against the person. So we have a civil lawsuit settled out of course. We have a 6 months radiation. The lady deregistered herself. She left the profession. Let's hope that if ever she comes back, that she gets the appropriate training, because otherwise she might be a dangerous employee with all the facts considered. And in disciplinary law, which I'm not an expert, and especially in the health system, we don't see a lot of sanctions being applied to professionals. So to me, it is somehow, somewhere, something good, because we don't see enough of those sanctions being applied to personnel who did and committed a lot of mistreatment to patients.
So you raised several interesting points here, Paul. First of which, I didn't know that an auxiliary nurse was different than a regular nurse.
Yes.
So how much does our system rely on auxiliary nurses in this? And I'm just trying to extrapolate from this case. Are auxiliary nurses relied on to do work that nurses should be doing? Is this another example of how stretched our healthcare system is?
It could be the situation. I don't have,
I'm not talking about this specific case. I'm just trying to speak generally. Yeah.
Well, in general, yes. We have asked that auxiliary nurses can come up and help nurses with the present shortage and crisis. In the early 2000s, even Mrs. Marois had agreed with the then chair of the Order of Nurses that students in nursing, finishing students, could come up and help out. You know, in a crisis, you want to get the help of whoever you can get.
That's true.
So is this the situation? We know that lady, that person was aware that she had other help that she could have gotten from. Apparently, there was a doctor in the place. There were other nurses. So there's no reason why she couldn't and have not gotten help in the appropriate time. But apparently she freaked out when the patient was in such a situation. But listen, you are a health professional. You should not be freaking out when a patient is in that kind of crisis. Otherwise, it would be very dangerous for all of us.
So before I let you go, Paul, every time I get the chance to speak with you, I always want to check in with you on how you're seeing the status of the Dubé reforms and the healthcare system. You know, we're finishing up with the summer. Summers are always difficult. I mean, what comes to mind when I ask you, okay, what's the status of the system from your point of view?
Listen, every day we come up with new things that we want to submit to the minister in terms of reform, conservation of patients' rights, and there's a lot of work and a lot of battles we have to run. Unfortunately, we don't have enough resources, but every day we push on the system so that such rights, for example, rights of patients to file a complaint against private medical clinics that are used more and more for elective surgeries. So from now on, these premises will be subject to the complaint regime of the public health system. So this is a gain, in my mind anyway.
So slowly heading in the right direction.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, as always. Paul Brunet, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Paul Brunet is a patient rights advocate and president of the Quebec Council for Patients' Rights.